And I just want to make sure, how do you guys pronounce your name? It's being recorded.
And that's
I'm
Hannah.
sorry. One more time. Sorry, the little thing went off.
I'm Abba. Yeah, and that's Hannah.
Okay, what's pretty name? I like it.
All right, so just to start off, I just wanted to ask you like what you know about our Address Teen Stress project.
Well, stress because this year I found that stress just comes really easily for me. And another thing that I appreciate is that I look at your founders thing and that all of you guys color, which for me is just really important just to see people who look like me advertising for the same thing. Because as a minority group, sometimes in a mostly white world and just trying to see people girls that look like us. And you're beyond the brain. And I think it's super cool, especially with the Behind the Crown, that you guys talk to pageant girls because they really are more than just a pretty. I have some of my own friends who do pageantry, and just knowing that some other girls are advocating for mental health and their own platform to speak is really cool.
Yeah, so as you said, Address Teen Stress is a mental health initiative. We have 5 high school girls that basically want to address teen stress, which is a topic that is not really talked about a lot, especially for minorities like us. So yeah, it's just a organization to spread awareness, and we do that through series like Teen Stories Told, where we share stories of teens like yours. So yeah. So as I said before, I'm Abba.
And I'm Hannah. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you guys too.
There's also Audrey, Vetica, and Alicia, but sadly they couldn't be here today. So yeah, let's start the interview.
So just to start off, do you mind just telling us a little about yourself, just goals, extracurriculars, any future passions, anything you just want to tell us about?
8. This will be my 4th year playing club. Kind of random, but I have a bunny, so I really love bunnies, just like kind of not advocating as much for mental health, but just like really talking about them. I have a bunny myself at home. And then, as I said in my blog, I have a passion for spreading awareness for mental health, especially for teens and girls, because I know that being a teenage girl is just really stressful. And with social media and times changing, now more than ever, it's just more stressful. So, and I also love listening to people's stories and where they come from, because everyone has a story and you don't know what it is until you find out.
Yes, for sure, for sure.
All right, so as you said, you have a blog called the Mental Teapot. So can you talk to us a little bit about what that is and the reason behind the creation for it?
So we are a mental health and wellness blog dedicating to helping teenagers with their mental health concerns. And it kind of came about because I want to be a psychology major in college, interest in psychology with my passion for teen mental health. And then my passion for psychology originally started with my dad, actually. My dad is from Gambia, which is a country in Africa. And I'll be honest, we don't have the best relationship because he's a very sometimes bitter person and just has trouble communicating with people effectively and in a kind way. So just seeing how his own childhood trauma has affected him, he's gone through a lot of hardships in life, and just seeing how it's made him the person who he is today would just kind of set up a light bulb in my head saying psychology affects people because it's not just someone wakes up and decides, I'm going to be this way. It's some kind of reaction or traumatic event that is causing them to be the way they want to. So taking my passion for mental health for teens and psychology, I want my blogs to be a mix of both research information for psychology, blending, professional information with also some more light and airy teen mental health.
So we know you're a volleyball player. How does that develop stress or affect your mental health in a good or bad way?
I think volleyball for me has really just been like comforting, especially this year. I just love going to practice. It just relieves me a lot. I kind of find it satisfying the way the game is set up. It's just consistent. It's always a bump, it's always a set, and it's always a spike. Same thing every time. And it gives me a sense of control knowing that I can manipulate the ball and I can control the play because every time it's the same. So, and of course, there are always obstacles that come with being an athlete, mindset. I found that has been a little bit of an issue for me this season, just knowing that if I mess up 5 times in a row, how to adjust my mindset and not get into this downward spiral of I'm not a good player. I don't know what I'm doing. I shouldn't be on the team. So just kind of learning to build myself up and knowing that it's okay to mess up. Even the best players mess up. LeBron James has his off day. So just knowing to give myself a little break and just knowing that it's okay to mess up a couple times and just helping my athlete brain get better.
For sure. So when you are stressed, what are your coping mechanisms?
Well, it sounds kind of weird, but honestly, just kind of being at home and just kind of like laying on my bed with my blankets. I found that every day when I come home from school, I'm just really stressed out, and I just kind of look forward to just going to my room, sitting in my bed, and just cuddling up like in my blankets at home. Because I remember seeing another mental health post about this somewhere that a lot of people, when they have anxiety, like to use a weighted blanket, as sometimes having that feeling gives them a sense of protection and being comforted. So that's the same for me. It's like a blanket is used for comfort, and that's just the same exact thing for me. And another thing is just being outside. I find that me and my mom are taking a lot more walks just around our neighborhood and in local parks. And just being in nature just has a really good effect on me, just knowing that it's been a good way just to clear my head, be out in nature, and just appreciate what we have in our world.
Yeah,
For sure.
and prior to the interview, I remember you told us that you're an author of an independent publication called Social Media Antidote or Poison. Can you talk a little bit about that to us and your point of view on the impact that social media has on your mental health and mental health with teens around in our society?
Yeah, so I know mental health is always talked about as mostly a negative thing. I mean, for me, I only have 2 social medias. I just got Instagram about January. So I haven't had much experience with social media. I mean, I do, but I'm not as active as other people. So for me, I think social media can be a positive thing if it's in the hands of the right user. And I talk about this in my publication. So the thing is, there is an age limit on social media that you have to be 13 or older. It's the Child Protection Act. But age limit doesn't indicate maturity. If some people aren't like mentally mature to be able to handle social media, they shouldn't be on it. Let's just say, for example, you have a girl who struggles with her self-confidence a lot, who doesn't feel very confident in herself and just has a lot of self-doubt. It wouldn't be very smart for her to be on social media where she can be exposed to comparing herself to others, seeing content that can make her feel less than. And another thing I talk about is dopamine release with social media activity. So every time we get a notification from a social media app, our brains instantly release dopamine, which is known as the happy hormone. So every time our brain releases dopamine from these social media notifications, our brain wants more of that happy feeling inside that we get. So the constant need for this simple reward of social media leaves our brains always craving for more, which does lead to a social media addiction. You see kids who are always on their phones, always feeling the need to check notifications, to always post. And that comes from our dopamine release. So kind of taking a control of it, saying, okay, even though I have a notification, kind of limiting yourself or just setting up healthy boundaries with social media.
And just to like add on real quick, do you think that like parents should be more strict when it comes to social media? And do you think that there should be like an age limit when it comes?
I do think there should be an age limit on social media, as we all know that there is inappropriate content, inappropriate accounts that are followed. I do think parents should be very heavily involved in social media, but I think a small part of it should be on the kid itself to have their own self-discipline to want to control the content that they see and just kind of monitoring their intake. Because parents, yes, they are always supposed to help you and help you, keep you safe from the bad things, but it's also like you need to know yourself how to protect yourself and know this is not okay. I need to set boundaries for myself.
For sure. So as a current freshman in high school, how has the entrance to high school been for you personally? And do you have any upcoming plans for the future?
If I'm being really honest, this year has been very, how do I say it, very rough for me. Going to a new high school, it's just been really hard because it's very cliquish and I haven't been able to make any connections with friends. I mean, there have been a lot of days where I have just come home from school and just break down in the car crying because it's just been so hard at school. And I will be honest, that has taken a very big blow to my own mental health, just knowing that like I really do love going to school. I love learning. I love seeing friends. But now that having any friends to look forward to seeing has been taken away from me, I've just seen my love for school gradually go downhill. So just kind of having this blog has really helped me a lot, being able to know that it's not just me. I'm not only going through the same experience, but I'm not alone. But it has been a very, very rocky road. But I am very hopeful for the future, and just knowing that these tribulations will always help you, make you stronger in the future, that it really won't last. It seems like forever, because I just know with me, it felt like it was going to last forever. There's no light at the end of the tunnel, but there really is. So, and all the things will help you. But for the summer, my upcoming plans, I'll be working with American psychologist Dr. Shauna Cooper for her STAR Labs, the Strength, Assets, and Resilience Lab, to help on a youth program that helps increase awareness for youth mental health. I know that one of the biggest things that I relate to and other teens do is that when you see people advocating for mental health for youth, it's not youth doing it. You see sometimes adults doing it. So I think it's very important to see people who are your age wanting to get involved with it. So there's not much of a stigma around it saying like, oh, you do mental health. Well, you seem to have unstable or be unstable. So just trying to get more youth involved in that. So I will be serving as one of the youth leaders for that program. And then for also Dr. Cooper's STAR Lab, I'll be acting as a research assistant. So I'll be aiding in research for African American communities, helping study the psychological behaviors behind that.
That's awesome. That really is awesome. And we need
Yeah.
more like you that are making a difference in this world and talking about subjects like mental health and doing research.
Yeah.
Question to you is that if you were to give advice to someone out there that's struggling with mental health as a teenager, or basically your message to our Addressing Stress audience, what would that message be?
I really have two that speak to me, just knowing that this has been a year of growth, very tough growth, just having some life lessons been presented to me. I would say the first one is that even though tough times may really just hurt to go through, they really one day will be your strength, your awareness, and sometimes your weapon. I know that definitely for a fact that I am just a completely different person mentally from the start of this school year. Going through all these tribulations, I know that I've grown painfully, and it's been unwillingly, but it's been a really good journey of just growth and just self-awareness. And I would just say, you saying how these tough times can be your weapon, use this as a weapon against those who mean to harm you. So if you do come in another tough situation with a person, a friend, a coworker, even just in life in general, you'll be able to really know what you're going into, and you already have that mental strength that you've gained from your past tribulations to help mentally prepare yourself and be like, okay, I know what I'm going into and I can do this. And then the second one I would say is save your explanations for those who are determined to understand you, and then give your silence to those who are determined to misunderstand you. This actually relates to my dad. Most people that realize that they have problems with someone, they try to keep going at it and going at it and going at it. And sometimes the sad truth, it's like, sometimes it's not going to work, and you have to sometimes have this inner peace within you to know that it's just not going to work. With my relationship with my dad, it's just changed a lot. And getting older, knowing that I'm developing to my own young lady, you just have to know that don't think that someone will be honest with you and change if they can't be honest with themselves. You have to know that sometimes people aren't willing to change for themselves, and you can't be the person to have to do it for you. If they don't want to change themselves, that shouldn't have to be on you to constantly have to go at it if they don't want to do it for themselves.
All right. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us, Alayna. Lastly, do you have any questions for us?
Yeah, how long have you guys been doing this for?
We started this project in October of 2020, and we've just been growing it step by step. It's been definitely progress, definitely growth. It's been a lot of work, but yeah, I think we both really enjoy what we do, and just listening to stories of individuals like you has really kind of opened our eyes on the perspective of mental health, and it's more than it seems, especially for our age range. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's nice. That's wonderful to hear. Do you guys, what majors are you interested in pursuing in college?
Well, I'm a junior right now in high school. She's a sophomore. So I want to be a pediatrician as of right now. So
Okay.
maybe majoring in biology and minoring in child development.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What are you
I
going to do,
think
Hannah?
for me, I think I'm a sophomore, so I'm still exploring, but I definitely want to be somewhere in the medical field. But I think
Yeah.
just navigating around, just like exploring more, definitely was gonna help.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you guys for having me. I really love this. And just seeing your Instagram page, I just completely lit up because I was like, I love that you guys are doing this. And we really do need a lot of this. Same with the mental health. So I just think we all really need to just help in. So I love what you guys are doing.
And we're really excited to collaborate and do a partnership with you with the Mental Teapot in the near future. So we're really excited about that.
Yeah.
Before we end this interview, I just wanted to ask if you could send some pictures of you in action in your community or whatever it might be, doing research,
Yeah.
and post on our Instagram, as well as
Mhm.
maybe tell us like a fun fact about you for your like little.
Yeah.
If you've seen our teen stories told descriptions, we have like about 2 to 3 like statistical things, like stuff you've done, and then the last one's usually something light. Like in the past, one of our I think Miss San Antonio says she has a good like Animal Crossing like impression, like just something like funny
Yeah.
bio. So yeah. And lastly,
Okay.
of all 3 of us for our social media, is that okay with you?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Okay, awesome. Thank you so much for coming. We really appreciate
Yeah,
Thank you
of course.
so much.